Live Barker Podcast audio commentaries.
Thanks to your generous donations to our Kickstarter funding campaign,
Clive Barker Podcast presents Fundraiser 4.
So are you guys ready for Hellraiser Bloodline's commentary track?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Got it all set up here.
All right. And as you guys may have noticed, we got Rob coming back to make a commentary track with us for Hellraiser Bloodline. Welcome back, Rob.
Thank you, guys. I hope everybody's been doing well out there in the Fifth Dominion.
Yes, we certainly have. Okay, I think a safe point would be to pause it just before the Dimension logo. That's where the movie starts.
Okay. And if everybody's ready, we will start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a mix-up because I accidentally started watching Hellraiser 3.
That's what you get. There's Pinhead.
Yeah, yep. It's funny on there previously when you said that. I'm like, maybe I blinked or something.
Yeah. Well, we just saw that big boo from Pinhead there. It was a good way to insert his character way in the beginning of the movie and please and scare the audience. I remember watching this movie in the theater in 1996 when I was at the Fantasporto Fantastic Film Festival in Portugal. And back then, the fans literally clapped when Pinhead came on screen for the first time.
Well, and also the producers were upset at the early cut of the movie, right? And because Pinhead wasn't in it for a long time. So now this way they can kind of say, oh, well, if that's what you want, we'll put him in before the title screen.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely. Because he showed up only like an hour into the movie or something.
There's Adam Scott. If anybody's seen, he's gone on to some really great things. He played Shox in the film.
Oh, yeah.
And Pat Skipper, I actually got to do a little interview with Pat Skipper.
The guy who played Jacques was in Parks and Recreation, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And he was recently in Krampus. Yeah, if you've seen that recently.
No,
really good film.
Yeah, I like
really good. I really recommend Krampus. It was really amazing. Very good movie.
3 editors on this movie, and it's terribly edited.
Yeah, right.
Really
Daniel Licht, composer.
Great score.
Great score. I have it on CD. Very, very.
Very lively. Very lively. The DP also shot Hellraiser 3.
And for Peter Atkins.
Yes, Peter.
Yes, absolutely. Good old Peter.
So 3 editors. What do you think? Why do you think that happened? Did they do it in shifts, or did people just quit because this movie is terrible? Or
probably because. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I think you're right. I think they might have been just because the movie post production was a mess.
Yeah, it's horrible. They kept doing all. I think there was like 3 sets of reshoots after the initial shooting was done.
Oh no.
So here we have the Space Station Minos in 2127.
Yeah.
This is a cool scene. I like the opening of the movie.
I like the virtual reality thing that he does here.
Yeah, it's really cool. And that's from Pete's wonderful script. If you're a fan of the film or the history behind Peter Atkins' original script for this was much better. It was like a linear story told from past, present to future, and instead, during the whole craziness of the movie, they changed the structure of the movie around.
Here is the space shuttle Theseus, which, of course, is the name of the mythical hero that fights the Minotaur in the labyrinth. So there's a kind of a reference there. So, yeah, like you were saying, we start off with the future segment according to the original intended directorial vision of Kevin Yeager. That was supposed to start like this, I think.
No, I think it was he started it in the past and went to present and future.
Okay, yeah, he was going to follow the story of a family, right?
Yeah.
Peter was going to start with a family in Paris, like the Le Marchand family, or something like that. No, wait, it was supposed to start in London. But then they said, why not Paris and why not make it Le Marchand's family? So that's how they came up with the idea.
What do you guys think of this trope of using the same actor to play different generations of Le Marchand family members?
Descendants.
Yeah, it happens a lot in movies, and I always think, I don't look like my grandfather. So
I don't mind.
It doesn't really need to be done.
Well, sure. I don't mind it. I think it's just, it kind of ties the movie together a little bit. And the truth is sometimes, sometimes people are similar. It's a shortcut.
For the audience, because you'll know right away when that's the Le Marchand character from this time period now.
But you're right. They do use that in several movies. This is like one of the most blatant examples of it. So this was 3-space CGI animation shots. That was the company that made the animation CGI here.
Oh, it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
No disassemble.
Johnny Five.
Yeah, I know.
And here we go. Here's Pinhead. Yeah. Only 4.5 minutes in.
Now, this is, I think, part of the reshoots. In the original version, you don't hear this conversation. You see, actually, in the work print, I think you see him talking to Pinhead, if I remember correctly.
This whole idea of getting Pinhead early, instead of starting in the past, like you said, it forces the movie to be a big kind of telltale flashback, cut in a series of chronologically ordered segments.
Yeah.
And
boy, that guy's not a good actor.
Which guy?
Yeah.
Oh, the guy with the white hair.
Oh, yeah. Did he give some cheesy line to Pinhead at the end of the movie? Something like that?
Yeah, he asked him, what the hell kind of planet are you from? Yeah.
God.
What amazes me is that this whole segment that we just saw when they relieved Dr. Merchant is going to be repeated as a flashback, like further down in the movie. And I totally think it's not necessary.
Pat Skipper, like I said, I got to talk to him. He's a really nice guy.
Which guy is Pat Skipper?
The guy that plays Carducci.
Oh, is he the captain?
No, the guy that's kind of an a-hole. The guy that gets, later on killed by Angelique through the mirror.
Okay.
Yeah, this set was built in a location in Los Angeles. I think it was the A1 Globe Pasta Factory. And originally in the fourth draft of the script, the Minos was supposed to be built out of an asteroid, literally carved into the asteroid. So here in this movie, it's a fully built structure orbiting Earth. I think it works better for the ending. Yeah, you're going to be able to see some parts where they're walking down some hallways and there's like these rock slabs on the walls. So that's kind of like a callback to the idea that this was going to be a base inside an asteroid.
Right, and now the rock on the walls doesn't make any sense because it's a big puzzle box shaped space station.
Absolutely, yeah.
And this is all reshoots here of him going, tell the story and flashback.
Yep, a flashback.
I also don't think that he should have this accent. It doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, if this character was in the United States, I mean, if his family was in the United States for like 100 years.
He has an accent? I never noticed that he had a different accent than any of the other ones, the descendants. I guess maybe it's because he's from Montreal,
He is, yeah.
Yeah. This is where the flashback starts, and from now on, it's all a ride with Merchant's voiceover as he reminisces.
Yeah.
Like you said, this was all reshot stuff.
This stuff right here probably is from the original shoot.
Yeah.
Because originally the opening credits was supposed to play over him making the box, or just showing him.
Oh, that's cool.
I think that's what...
I think it would have been better that way.
Yeah.
I think so, too. This was supposed to open the movie in the fourth draft of the film. And here it's here's an interesting tidbit. The unfilmed Hellraiser 3 script by Peter Atkins featuring Pinhead running a demonic bordello called The Fever House also began with the drilling sequence, with a chilling sequence of Le Marchand working in close-ups and featuring intercuts of his automata as we saw his face and eyes putting the box together, and and his decay as he fell into genius and madness.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. I think Hellraiser 3, Pinhead doesn't come into the movie until like halfway into the movie, right? Or maybe it's a little sooner than that.
Now, this is reshot stuff, too. This is...
He's showing his wife what the box does. And then her reaction is hilarious. It's like, oh, it doesn't actually do anything.
A masterpiece.
Yeah.
He's just so disappointed.
Yeah, it's...
This is the 1800s. We don't have servo motors engines yet. It's like, it's all done with cogs and springs.
I love the little dolls in the background behind her. That was originally, it looks like those old...
Automata?
Yeah. And that was originally supposed to be in the original Peter Jackson script. It's going to have a cool scene. Talk about that later.
So obviously she's pregnant because there's going to be a bloodline going down the generations here.
Yeah.
Also makes the whole I need to go out at midnight to deliver a box at a mysterious mansion much more risky because, hey, his wife is left home and she's pregnant. So
yeah.
Valentina Vargas and Adam Scott. She's been dubbed throughout the whole movie.
Oh, really?
Yep.
In the work print, you actually get to hear her voice, which I wish they would have used her voice because it's so much more seductive sounding.
Yeah, maybe they thought the voice didn't have the right accent, but personally, I've heard the real voice in the alternate cut, and I prefer it. Yeah,
I do too. Yeah, and this is a nice, nasty little scene. I think.
So did they just dub her because they figured she shouldn't have an accent?
Probably.
Maybe.
So.
But I don't see why not.
This is a rewritten scene by Fran Revich, I think.
Oh.
And here we have this very chilling sequence where she's going to start seeing the evil like shining through the illusion.
Look at those nails he has. It's just nasty character.
He is pretty nasty. That's played by Mickey Cottrell.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good character. He's a pretty good actor. He played Duke DeLille.
Yeah.
And we've said this before, DeLille is a lot closer to the Le Marchand character that we know from the comic books.
Yeah, that painting, we see that they have him. So that reminds me of this guy.
Yeah. And how immoral and evil he is.
Oh, yeah. Just that look in his eyes in that painting. He's not right.
He's had a very long career, Mickey Cottrell. And so has Adam Scott. Right now, he's doing a lot of 21 Thunder TV series episodes.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no. I'm in the wedding feast table of Great Expectations.
Yeah, so do you guys think that was supposed to be like the food was like that the whole time and she just didn't see it? Or was the spell that now she's seeing all this rot and worms and stuff, but they weren't really there?
That's a good question. He was obviously using some kind of mental block on her. I'd say maybe so. Maybe it really all was, nasty-looking food. That's
like an illusion thing that he was putting her under a spell where she saw what she wanted to see.
Yeah. But then why would they have all this rotten food with worms in it? I mean, they wouldn't want to eat that.
This scene that we just saw was the scene that opened up the work print that some people have around there in the internet. It's funny to say that none of this was in the script until very late into production. Like you said, this must have been rewritten by Rand Ravitch.
Because this in the original Peter script, there's like a whole... He goes inside the house where he meets Angelique. She's already, I guess, a demon. It's been risen as a demon, and we come to that card player scene.
Yes. She's the Princess Angelique. She's introduced by Duke DeLille. It says, "Oh, this is the Princess Angelique."
Yeah.
So we never really see her getting summoned for the first time, at least.
See, because what he's reacting to here is the card scene, right? The original shoot. That's what he's saying, and then they reshot all the new stuff, and that's how they added it together to make it,
Yeah, I think those shots of Le Marchand looking through the window he would be looking into the card player scene where they're playing cards, and Angelique is taking a piece of clothing off when she gives him the box, and she says, "Every successful turn of the puzzle, I will respond in kind."
This is a good scene, though. I think, it definitely gets under the skin, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the shots of the skin hanging are later additions to special effects stuff. But I like it because it shows us that before the box existed, there were still ways to access hell through spells and magic and, summonings.
The thing that I don't like is this idea that, hell from the 16th century was like more typical, like demons and the devil and stuff like that and pentagrams, and then it's like, but the modern era hell is the one with the Cenobites and the Leviathan, and I don't know, it just I'd kind of rather think that it was the same over thousands of years.
Originally, the hell that we were going to show in the past, it was more humorous. Very kind of like clowns. Like I was talking about earlier, was a scene that Peter Atkins wrote that of a character named Augustus who's in this movie. He just has a one scene. But there was this wonderful scene Peter wrote where like the Angelique turns into a bird and watches and is this clown troupe and comes out and kills Augustus. But it was like they were her Cenobites. They were her version of Cenobites for that period.
For clown Cenobites, yes.
Before it became more ordered, like Leviathan. Obviously, I don't think Leviathan was.
So do we know what he's saying in Latin?
Yeah, it's kind of gibberish.
Oh, okay.
It's like something about a small boat, and then someone had come up with that translation on a Latin forum.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'll actually write it up and see what I can find. Spectare navicula suaves means looking sweet boat.
Weird.
Does not mean anything, really.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yep. And then he says, spectare means to look at.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So if you look it up, yeah.
Look at my sweet boat.
Look at my sweet boat.
And spectare ordeum suaves means to watch sweet barley.
I'll never be able to watch that scene again now.
We'll have to email Peter about it and say, Peter, where did you get this whole spell thing? Because this is just a bunch of Latin gibberish.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? Audiences don't know any better, so it doesn't matter.
Well, Rob, if you tell him that we did this and when we post it, and he'll probably listen.
Yeah. He said he was scared to listen to the Hellraiser 3 commentary.
Oh, really?
I don't know if he's done that yet.
Yeah.
We didn't really harp on that film bad.
No.
That line, "Walk now amongst us," was not in the work print that I saw. So that might have been also a later dub into the movie.
Was that an ADR, or was he actually saying that like on his face? I can't remember now.
I missed it. I just had it here on my notes.
I missed it too.
So here's the thing. The fact that DeLille summons the magic but never sends her back, as was intended in the script, kind of creates a part in the movie where it doesn't make any sense because he says here, he who summons the magic commands the magic. That's all fine. That's how it works, But But later we see Jacques with Angelique, and they've kind of discarded Duke de Lille. And it's like, that wouldn't make any sense because he summoned her. He controlled her. So why would Jacques take over controlling Angelique? But so the thing is, there was supposed to be a scene where I'm sorry, there's some noise here. There was supposed to be a scene where Duke de Lille would banish Angelique back to hell, and then Jacques would grab the book afterwards by himself and summon Angelique back into our world. And that's why he would control her from that point on.
Oh. Yeah, this is so gruesome here with the...
This is Augustus, too, the character I was telling you about. He had a much bigger part in the original script. And what they shot, I think, he actually had a different... His death was very unique. He got turned in... They had pictures online. His face got turned in to, like... It was like a drum, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a good picture of that. So I like the casualness of Auguste when he says, well, you created a machine that brings forth demons. Well, just create another machine that sends them back.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I guess, it's, but he's not a wizard. He can't place the spell in the box.
Well,
but
he doesn't really believe him anyway. He's just humoring him.
Yeah, but he does go to work and he does find a way. So now here's the part that I was talking about where we see that Jacques is now controlling Angelique.
Yeah, and you don't understand why they've killed de Lille. I mean, it makes no sense. It's just...
Yeah, right, because Angelique wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah. I mean, you just figure, so they got mad at him?
Yeah, right.
So that configuration that Le Marchand was drawing earlier, that he leaves behind for his descendants to work upon and improve, it was called the Elysium configuration that would ban the Cenobites with perpetual light. I always wondered why Philip went back to get the box. I guess he was trying to keep it from opening up again and bringing forth more demons. Or maybe it was because he couldn't get his Elysium configuration to come together. Or maybe he just wanted to steal it and get rid of it. It would be easier than coming up with the Elysium configuration, right?
Yeah, if only he hadn't gone back inside.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess it adds more tension, what makes it a horror movie. Because honestly, it doesn't really matter, right, whether he had died or not. For the story.
Yeah. There was supposed to be a scene where, like I said, Angelique would try to kill, I think Rob, help me out here. Was it Angelique was going to try to kill Le Marchand or something, and then de Lille would banish her?
Yeah, he banished her back into the he got her into the pentagram that was on the floor.
That was it, yeah.
Yeah, and remember the whole ball scene they had? There was like a whole sequence. I mean,
there was supposed to be a ball going
so
on.
So much material of this original 18th century.
Yeah, I think the past segment is the one that got cut the most.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because now it's just kind of like, it's over before it really begins. I mean, there's no meat to all this stuff.
And afterwards here, after the sequence, we were supposed to see Genevieve, Le Marchand's wife. She was supposed to be shown boarding a boat to America.
Yeah, pregnant. And Jacques was originally supposed to, after Angelique gets sent back to hell, he summons her, and that's how he becomes his, I guess, kind of like he just uses her for, pleasure and, kind of like a sex toy.
Yeah, and whatever things he wanted to do, and keep him young, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was, when I watched this earlier, I was thinking it would be, it would have been interesting to see a little bit of their adventures over the centuries, Jacques and Angelique.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. originally he gets killed by being crucified on a wall. Marchand.
Jeez, that's harsh. Yeah, and well, and also if Angelique is really interested later on, in the movie to find out that there's a Le Marchand in America, why wasn't she hunting down his heir earlier?
Because she couldn't leave Jacques, I guess, and she didn't know where they were.
In the original script, it does touch on that, Ryan. The question you asked, because Angelique, the wife Genevieve, mentions that she's pregnant and that Angelique wants to kill her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was in Peter's script, and because she didn't want the bloodline to continue. But then that's when DeLille, yeah, that's right, DeLille comes in and gets her into the pentagram and sends her back to hell.
Oh, wow.
I highly recommend reading that script. It's I think you can find it. Well, you guys can maybe post it in the show notes. Okay,
that sounds like a good idea. So here's the merchant talent for design and architecture oozing through Le Marchand's work. This is going to be, of course, now they're not called Le Marchand anymore. They're called Merchant. And I like the way that they connected the ending of Hellraiser 3 with this movie.
Yeah.
Where the building was supposed to be a tie-in from the Hellraiser 3 building that we will see that we see in the end of that.
But it's not exactly, the box isn't exactly in the same place where Joey threw it, at the end.
Yeah, I know.
It's in a pillar in the basement instead of just being in a concrete slab.
That's right.
Also, the dream scene that he wakes up from was a little different. It did show Angelique holding the heart, but he dreamt about his grandmother or something like that.
Yeah, very creepy scene, yeah.
She's like, Johnny, she's telling Johnny, you're the one they're waiting for or something like that. It was weird.
Yeah, and then she starts floating up, and then we see that her dress is like super long, and she's just floating up and back again, like, Johnny, you're the one, Johnny. That kind of goes towards what Kim Myers is going to say here about, no, it's your grandma. She put things in your head.
Yeah.
There's so much. I don't know. It seems like they just barely do enough. Just to get the story out, and that's it. Like these lines about, your grandmother filled your head with that stuff. It's like you just got to keep the story moving along, and I think the weakest part is this present day stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff got cut out from it too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not as much as the 18th century, but a ton of kind of like, also, I mean, Angelique was originally kind of, there was like a little love story going on between her and
John Merchant.
Yeah, and just the bloodline. And that got lost too.
So back in Paris, Jacques is about to break hell's rules.
Yeah.
This is all reshot. The whole sequence where he's going to be attacked by Angelique was all reshot to make his death look better. Originally, he was going to age through all the years that he had been magically spared in a single blow.
Like Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
And there's actually pictures of the molds they did to age Jacques' head. I don't think they ever shot it, but it was going to be done by Kevin Yeager's effects team with some mannequins and a series of dissolves, like a series of dissolves.
Yeah.
So they were going to show one face, and then they were going to dissolve to another older face, and then ultimately, down to the almost skeletal part. So they decided to do the sequence instead.
I think the aging would have been probably better.
I do too. She had him suffering a lot more. He suffered through the process of the aging. And this one he does too. I can't say he doesn't, but just.
So you won't bruise.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Why would she remember that, right? Because that wasn't her.
Yeah, I could see that.
She
but
hadn't even
maybe
been summoned yet.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like it's like a memory inside of her skin.
Just maybe to quote George Lucas, it's just poetry that it rhymes. You know, those two lines rhyme with each other. They create like this reference. So notice that demon-like claw that Angelique holds there. It's rather demonic, I guess. Even though
was pretty cool. I like that addition to this reshoot. They didn't show that in the work print.
Yeah.
We never see any other Cenobites changing their flesh physically like that, though. Yeah. But you know, hey, it's hell, so anything goes.
Well, and they said like she's from a different era, and he calls her princess. Pinhead does. She's some kind of princess of hell.
She gives him this kiss.
It seems like she really didn't like him and took it personally the way he treated her over all these years. Because she kills him pretty slowly and painfully.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. She tortures him to death. Well, he tried to stand in hell's way, so he broke the rules, Jacques. Yeah,
that's what
broke
you
the
get
number one rule.
When you make decisions when you're drunk.
Yeah.
Yes. There she is. I like they put the black contact lenses on her, like the other Cenobites do.
Yeah.
It's kind of too bad for him. He found out about his mistake after it was too late to do anything about it.
I also like the lighting effects here. It reminds me of Blade Runner when you have all those like flashing lights in Tyrell's office.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. At the end when Roy kills him.
I want more life.
The original director of photography got fired on this movie. I don't know who it was. I've always wanted to know who it was.
Oh, really?
Maybe it's something. Yeah, it was.
Well, the
production.
The lighting.
The original.
The lighting in the present day stuff in America is not very good. It looks like a TV show. The
budget was pretty low for the story. I think the budget came up to about $4 million, which was the same amount spent on the previous sequel, Hellraiser 3: Hell on Earth.
It seems like they spent all their money early on the past sequences, and then they just had to, like this. This is like a warehouse or something, right?
Yeah, like a studio or something. Yeah.
It doesn't look like any kind of place where you would have a bunch of tables and waiters and stuff.
In later editions of this DVD of Bloodline, the Twin Towers have been taken away from the background in the box cover. I noticed that, because of obviously 9/11.
Yeah.
Here's something that the producer of the movie said. She was Nancy Ray Stone, and she said, "I've gotten a lot of gray hairs on this production. There are so many elements involved in making a movie like this. This isn't just a few gooey makeup effects. This is very complicated makeup effects, very complicated visual effects, mechanical effects, period costumes, period sets, future costumes, future sets, and the juggling of 3 different casts." And she says it was very difficult to schedule the show in the perimeters of the budget because it was like creating 3 movies at one time. That's, I guess, why they started, cutting parts here and there.
Yeah. The scene in the work print of this is even different. The dialogue's different.
It is.
Yeah.
He makes a longer speech, I think. Yeah, the 6th shoot started in August 1994 in Culver City, California. And like you were saying, the trouble began when the director of photography was replaced due to an emergency a few weeks into the shoot with Jerry Lively. So, fortunately, he had experience in Hellraiser 3 and other horror movies, so it kept the troubles of joining the production midstream to a minimum.
I was also going to mention to the listeners, also, if you want to see the clown scene, Jose actually did a version of it it's on the Facebook page under the video section. Or then you have a video that you made.
The card player segment, yes. Yeah, I have that.
Good. I like you put some music to it. And
thanks.
It turned out nice.
I'll have to dig it up and see if I have it uploaded somewhere because I think I might have taken it down. Clive Barker at the time was shooting his own film, Lord of Illusions, and he was just a few blocks down from the shooting set. And he stopped by at least once a week, and Kevin Yeager said he gave him some support. He said, "I don't know how he does it, but he comes over here on his day off, and he'll just hang for like half an hour to an hour and encourage me. He's been really good about making sure that the film is true enough to the Hellraiser series, which I want to do also." Of course, Kevin Yeager didn't know that, that he wasn't going to direct the movie for a long time.
It is kind of nice that they connected Hellraiser 3 and 4 together. It's a really subtle connection between the two movies, but they don't even bother with that anymore. After this one, there's no connection at all.
Now this guy's called Sharp, poor sap. Angelique is going to use him to open the gateway to hell.
Yeah.
I guess she needed someone to use her soul as currency for it.
Yeah. It would have been funny if if like some Cenobite said, "I thought it was not hands that called us, it was desire," and Pinhead was like, "Oh, we don't do that anymore."
I assume, that she doesn't have a soul like the Cenobites, so she needs a soul to summon them.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Right.
When she,
I wonder if she's not allowed to manipulate the box.
There's classic Hellraiser style, the lights through the wall.
Yeah, notice how the wall's paint is already kind of distressed, and it's a brand new building here.
Oh, yeah. Right.
The basement. I like the way she looks in this, Valentine. I like her costume.
Yeah.
Kind of very Julia-esque.
This is your basic Hellraiser moment here.
Yeah.
Seduction, the resolution, the violent price to pay for it.
Yeah.
What's happening? Oh. There's a chatter beast.
Oh, I love that dog.
I love it. There's a figurine of it from the Nika.
Right now.
Yeah.
Great figure. Yeah.
Oh, that's harsh.
Yeah.
Although he wasn't on his throat when he was getting dragged anymore. He was just holding on to it with his hands.
Yeah.
Yoink. Oh, man. Everybody started clapping when I saw this sequence when I was watching the European premiere of the movie. Yeah.
I like the way they went back to Pinhead's kind of old school. I like the design in this one.
Absolutely.
Part 3, it kind of looked like a porcupine in a way, with how the
pins?
The nails were kind of like, the pins were so tight together,
Yeah, and when I saw this on the Fantasporto Film Festival, Doug Bradley was in the theater with us, so
cool.
He did a little Q&A afterwards. That was so cool.
That's cool.
Here, Angelique was supposed to say, "I was expecting my clowns."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because his response to it, Pinhead says, like, what hell is less humorous? That was going back to what was originally shot about the clowns.
Mm-hmm. It's cut differently from the work print and runs slightly longer here with their dialogue.
It's cool. I like listening in the work print. You get to hear Doug's actual voice, talking. It's not been filtered through yet.
I like this line. This is not a room. This is a Holocaust waiting to awake itself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little confusing because I thought he's been trying to do the Elysium configuration, but it seems like Pinhead thinks it's like a way to permanently open a gateway to hell, right?
Yeah, they kind of rechanged that when they were in the production. Because obviously that's, just like you said, it was supposed to be the Elysium configuration and showed how the concept was evolving through the decades. That was supposed to do perpetual light in that building.
But yeah, I think Pinhead should have recognized that and would have just wanted to kill him immediately and destroy all that stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Just had a lot of problems.
They did. So there's the Elysium configuration.
I love that drawing.
I think she recognizes it here. She sees that it's...
Yeah, she didn't really know what it was at first either.
Yeah.
Because there's a scene in the work print where she figures it out after the. Yeah. I think maybe it's after this scene. There's a quick scene where she's like, she realizes that it's a gateway to open the portal forever.
Yeah, now she understands right there what it would do.
Yeah. And she uses that, what she knows is a secret against Pinhead. Because originally there was supposed to be this rivalry between them. Yeah. They didn't really like each other.
Yeah, one thing that I think is kind of a pretty terrible mistake in this movie is that the way that Pinhead just sort of dominates her and he changes her into a Cenobite and it just seems like pretty anti-feminist, I suppose.
Yeah, and she was originally supposed to be a lot stronger character.
She spends this whole movie, except for just these few minutes in this section, being ruled over by men.
Yeah. Wasn't Angelique still an attempt by Clive? I mean, Clive has always wanted a kind of a female villainous role in the Hellraiser series to be a strong female, because that's what Julia was supposed to be.
So here's a great cheesy-looking sex scene featuring a revolving bed. It looks like Angelique is getting inside his head here,
Yeah.
She does a more seductive approach instead of Pinhead's usual, chain and hook.
Looks like they shot it inside the same place where they shot the summoning scene.
Although I think that Pinhead's kidnapping plan is not very good either. I mean, what's the point of that? Why didn't he just take John Merchant instead?
I guess it's more disturbing to see Pinhead holding a child.
Yeah.
As a sequence, and he uses it as bait to call the father, and
but he doesn't
get him to do what he wants.
He doesn't need to do that. I mean, he can just grab him and hook him and do what and just take him away.
Yeah, but now he has a hostage that he knows Merchant cares for, who's his son.
Yeah, but I mean, he's giving Angelique a hard time for wasting time. And he should just be more direct and use pain. And at the same time, it's like, well, he could just, I don't know.
I think this is a great shot. I love this. I think this touch right here with the pigeon. Yeah. Don't you think it's probably a Clive touch? Because Clive loves pigeons.
Or it's a dove, I think, right?
A dove, or
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes I say what Pinhead says here to my cat. Like, still hungry, ready for something that screams.
Oh, that's funny.
Actually, my cat killed a pigeon once. I was pretty surprised about that.
Jeez.
Really?
He just showed up in the back window with a pigeon in his mouth.
Yeah, and why does Pinhead get to kill these security guard people that didn't open the box, they didn't do anything?
Originally, this was supposed to be just a woman security guard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was not these two twins.
I wish that they didn't use these two twins. They're not very good actors.
This may be Rand Ravitch rewrites, Rob?
Mm.
No, I think it was Peter. He wrote it, but he just, I believe, because originally the twins in the feature segment, there was, in that fourth draft of the Bloodline script, where the twin Cenobites were in there.
Right.
But I think when Kevin came on board, he wanted to say, well, why are they just twins? Where are these? I think it was he wanted a connective tissue to,
I definitely like the character they're going to become, the twin Cenobites.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I definitely think that's an excellent makeup design. That couldn't have been easy to put together, especially for the actual actors to play with that makeup, because it seems very complicated to walk around with.
They couldn't. They don't have to incorporate the origin of every single Cenobite into this movie.
Yeah, I would have been okay with them just showing up.
Yeah.
I like this scene a lot right here. So you get some of the best Pinhead dialogue. when he takes out those twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can see the rivalry between Pinhead and Angelique take shape here, even though some bits were cut. And
isn't there a part where you like you have a secret and he takes one of the hooks on his finger, like opens it up, tastes her blood?
And she doesn't really open up her card game to Pinhead, especially about the Elysium configuration, what she knows about it.
Yeah. But
that's why I think Pinhead resents the fact that she knows stuff she's not saying, and she's pursuing a hidden agenda.
But why is Pinhead more powerful than her? If she's supposed to be some sort of hell princess, why does he get to take her and turn her into a Cenobite, and she just has to stand behind him all the time?
Well, that's just because the fans knew Pinhead more. They love him more. They want Pinhead to be the main villain.
I know. I just don't. It doesn't. I don't like it for the story.
I know what you mean is that it seems like her power is not there anymore. Like maybe the power that these Cenobites yield is connected to their position in hell. Maybe after she left it for so long, maybe she doesn't have a connection to hell anymore.
Yeah.
That's just a fan explanation, I guess.
Right before the scene, she's looking at herself and she's crying. Was there some kind of regret on her part of being like this demon or princess? She seemed very vulnerable.
Well, and then later on, she has some kind of a power with mirrors, right?
Yeah.
But
100 and something years in the future.
I kept thinking they should be playing the Rolling Stones song Under My Thumb.
Yeah, these are kind of comic relief. These two security guards.
Yes, and the movie.
I don't mind them.
It doesn't really work that well. I mean, they're not funny, and the rest of this movie doesn't really have jokes in it.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny, the whole joke about would you have sex with a man that used to, or what was it? A
woman that used to be a man.
He's like, yeah, I guess so. I thought that was...
If she's cut and all.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. But their acting is, probably like B-movie level actors, they're...
Yep, they're not the only twins that were listed in this cast, because when they have the twin Cenobites, they're not played by these characters, by these guys. They're played by a different set of actors who are also twins.
I would imagine that they would want skinny people to put in those costumes.
Yeah. This is great acting right here. Don't make us put some paint on you.
Yeah, that line is so contrived, just so they can get Pinhead to say this line.
All right, but the payoff is really good. The payoff is good. He's got pins in his head. Pinhead totally does not care about the guns. He's just like, it's okay.
Yeah. This is the first time somebody ever put a gun on Pinhead, right?
Hellraiser 3 had the cops. Well, it wasn't towards Pinhead. It was towards the proto-Cenobites.
Right. And the bullets didn't do anything to them.
I'd really like to know what our building security guards doing with guns.
Yeah, right.
I don't think they ever had guns. They usually have like tasers or something.
And why? And it seems a little. What's so special about this building that it needs 2 security guards at night?
All this transformation scene that's going to come up was done in a later period of production when they went back to do the reshoots and shoot all new material for the film's death scenes and improve some other scenes. So this transformation was slightly different in the work print.
Yeah.
It featured a saw and some drills, I think.
Yeah. They never go back to this thing where they have to pump into that blue liquid into their blood to make them, keep living after they should be dead, like they did in Hellbound.
Yes, yeah. That makes them look a little bluish.
Yeah, and I always kind of figured that that's what made them undead, where they should have died from all this stuff, but they're still alive.
Yeah, it should be like that blueness that comes from hypoxia when, a corpse.
And there's a little bit of CGI in there. Oh, wait. No, never mind. There it is. I take it back.
Still think Shenard's when he gets turned into a Cenobite's better.
The twins that are going to play the Siamese twin Cenobites, they are Mark and Michael Polish. And they would also play Siamese twins in a later movie they wrote and directed called Twin Falls, Idaho from 1998. It's a very strange movie. Yeah, a very strange movie. I think I recommend it. But they play Siamese twins in that movie, too. They have to be separated, and there's all this anxiety about are they going to both make it and stuff.
A really tight close-up on Pinhead.
Here's our Glenn Close lookalike.
Yeah, I think, man, look at those mom jeans.
Yeah, those were really bad.
I think that Merchant's family is pretty weak. I mean, as far as just sort of milquetoasty, wishy-washy actors, and the kid is terrible.
Yeah, that kid, he was in the Shining TV version. I couldn't stand him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He was Danny Torrance?
Yes.
Was that the Mick Garris
yeah, it was the Mick Garris
adaptation?
I liked it,
yeah.
But it just wasn't. It was him, the little kid.
Yeah, he's the main character for the whole thing. That's too bad.
He didn't really get on my nerves in this because he didn't really talk much.
Yeah.
I mean,
There was also some other things that happened during production, during principal photography, was that they had other kids. Another kid that was going to play in this movie, he got chicken pox or something and had to be replaced.
Oh, wow.
I think I remember something like that.
He lost his big break.
Yeah.
This scene right here where she goes to do the laundry was originally supposed to have a bit more effect. It was supposed to be a bit more effects.
Yeah, something happened with the washing machine, right?
Yeah, something happened with the washing machine, yeah.
Oh.
I haven't read the script in a long time, so I can't remember exactly what happened. Well, there were four...
In the work print, I was just going to say there's a title card they bring up, like washing machine goes crazy or something
so
like
John Merchant is like some kind of rich millionaire guy, but her laundry is coin operated.
And it's also in a basement, but then there's a window that leads to a garden.
Yeah.
There were 4 attempts by Kevin Yeager to appease the producers, and these 4 cuts would vary in length between 110 to 82 minutes. Ultimately, Miramax wanted Pinhead in sooner in the movie, and a happy ending with Merchant escaping and getting the girl. So, Yeager left the project after he found it was hopeless. He said that, according to Kevin Yeager, this ended up being a battle becoming a constant battle between art and the money.
I don't believe him and the producer.
Man, Pinhead looks so bad in this lighting.
You think? I like it.
I like it.
Yeah. I think it brings out the gold pins a lot.
I don't think that we should be looking down on him from up on stairs, and I don't know. It just doesn't look right to me. I never liked him in the daylight outside in Hellraiser 3 either.
Oh, I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Me too, yeah. Yeah. So I remember the washing machine would be demonically possessed, and there would be light and noises coming through the floor. Yeah.
Remember that scene in the work print, Jose or Ron? Have y'all both seen it?
Yeah.
There's a scene where Angelique, they show a brief part of it where she tries to seduce him, and she gets upset and starts to scream at him like this evil, nasty scream. Do y'all remember that part?
I think so.
She starts to turn into like the Cenobite.
I need to rewatch that. Yeah, I need to rewatch that. But that sounds familiar. Sounds familiar.
We did an episode of it, but it was quite a while ago now. An episode about the work print.
And the Hellraiser podcast also did an episode about Hellraiser Bloodline.
Oh.
Well, they did episodes about all the movies.
Yeah.
Now here's the shot of the dog. Did y'all know there was actually an actress that played in that suit?
Yeah.
The dogs?
I didn't know that. I thought it was an animatronic.
Huh.
I think for some scenes, yeah, there were scenes where there was a guy dressed up in it. There's a CGI Cheddar Beast, and other parts of it was just like a kind of a puppet animatronic.
I don't understand why they had a dog's head on the wall. I never understood like that. I was like, looks like they might have gotten a lot of stuff from a prop warehouse and just decorated this hallway. Yeah. Kind of, reminds me of how Hell's taken over the building and become.
Yeah, Hell's presence is corrupting the building. There's even a nice torture pillar that we just saw.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool. One of the last times I can't remember. The direct-to-videos, did they have the torture pillar in their movies?
I don't know. Maybe not.
I think this might have been the last one. So the Pinhead makeup in this movie was done by Gary J. Tunnicliffe, and as you can see, it's become rather clean and slightly different than the first couple of movies.
Yeah.
Like the intersecting gashes on the head became very, very subtle.
I always is his Pinhead's teeth. In the first film, they were kind of
black,
nasty, black looking. Then it's more they went along
because he was corpse-like.
Yeah.
And he had the black eyes.
I like this line coming up. It's like, does he say,
this part of the plot is kind of nonsense that Pinhead thinks that he's going to somehow open this gateway to hell. I mean,
when he says you have to complete your work, well, if he completes his work, he's going to destroy the gate forever.
And kill Pinhead.
Because they changed the story when they were doing the movie, and it just doesn't make any sense here anymore.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Did they realize that when they were editing it? I mean, 3 editors just work on this. I mean, you need to leave this in here,
Yeah.
When he says the room downstairs, potentially a bigger pathway. No. Wrong.
I know. Yeah, it's like, so what does this mean? Does this mean Pinhead doesn't understand what he was looking at?
Maybe he wanted him to alter the Elysium configuration somehow.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's got the talent to create, the magic box or whatever. So this always seems a little useless. Like this part where he says, "Run, Jack, run!" And it's like, well, you guys are being chased by a demon. And you're in a hallway that's obviously demonically corrupt, so it's
the whole building's turning into hell too. So
there's really no place you guys can run to.
Yeah.
And Pinhead's like, "Oh, okay, I guess we're doing this."
Well, and that door looked like they were supposed to have gone into a room, but they went into a hallway instead. It's like why would there be a door from one hallway to another hallway?
Yeah. Well, that hallway is not on the charts.
Oh, I see.
Remember when the and here you can see in this hallway that there's no ceiling to this hallway. It's just weird. It's seems like something that someone just put together inside a warehouse to shoot this scene. It's an interesting hallway design, but it just doesn't seem real. It seems like the background of something, like behind the scenes or something.
It almost looks like it's reused from the space station.
Yeah.
This is a great dialogue scene, though. I really like it. I think it's just...
This movie also introduced a lot of different powers to Pinhead, like the one he's going to show here, where he can mimic someone else's voice.
He's the Predator.
Right. Yeah, he's a Predator.
Or the T-1000.
Yeah.
It's a pretty ambitious plan here for Pinhead.
Yeah.
But then I think it would kind of make the whole idea of hell useless. If hell could just take over the world, then pretty soon there wouldn't be any world to torture because everybody would be in hell.
It's like the plot for Blade where they have the blood god and he's supposed to come and turn everybody into a vampire. So then who's left to eat?
You got to drink, but blood you get to drink.
Yeah.
dog stuff right here they cut out. I don't know. I thought it looked pretty good. You see the dog originally jump through the door too.
Yeah. It's like a combination of like Alien 3 and like Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I can see that.
Now it's just so choppy.
It is a little choppy, yes. But I like the idea that somehow the design of the Chatterer is present in most of the Hellraiser movies.
Yeah.
In one form or another.
Yeah.
Although the most ridiculous one is Torso in Hellraiser 5.
Yeah.
This one's pretty badass.
Although it's kind
He'll be shown back up in the new one, won't he?
It's a little bit ruined by this scene here, because how would she know that would do anything? You know, like, she pushes some buttons and turns the box and points it at the dog. Why does she think that's going to do anything?
Well, Kirsty kind of does the same at the ending of Hellraiser 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she's had some time with it, too.
Sure, that's a good point in the hospital room. What were you going to say, Rob?
Nothing. I don't think so.
Okay.
Thank you.
We were talking about the Chatter Beast.
I was just going to talk about how the Chatter Beast is just there was going to be more shots of it in that scene before it gets sent back to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Now this was originally this. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's just a great shot, and I think Doug Bradley signed a bunch of pictures taken from that still.
This scene was different because it shows how Angelique originally was trying to destroy Pinhead.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a scene where a hook comes out of his mouth, and he flies up to the ceiling.
Well, here we are, just the end of the movie.
Yeah, like Rob was saying, there's a scene where he was supposed to escape from the lasers. Obviously here they're just like flashlights, but there were going to be lasers. And he would just fire a chain from his mouth and climb up to the ceiling like a spider. And you can still find stills that have them, like hanging from the ceiling. And I definitely can add that to the show notes. And here another thing is that hook has some saws, and they cut through his neck, but not his fingers.
Right.
That scene is so badly edited from what the work print shows. It just played out so much better.
And Pinhead laughing kind of seems a little out of character.
Yeah.
He just took the box away from her, right? I mean,
yes.
He's never been able to do that before.
See, this shot with her being dragged on the floor, that happened earlier in the scene.
Oh.
Yeah. And, Jose, you sent me, like, this, I don't know, like this clip of, like, I don't know, it was like a camera shot or effect shot of something going through Pinhead before this particular shot. Where it was like...
It was a test.
It was a test. That's all it was.
It was a test footage, and I think that's been around for a long time, almost as long as this movie. I got it from the Hellbound Web, and it was this video where you see that scene where Pinhead is yelling out and looking up in the middle of the lasers and stuff. Then the camera would like kind of zoom into his head and go through the gashes and the pins, and it would just like go like that, and then you'd see Pinhead's face glow from the inside and explode. And I don't know. I mean, I think that might have been from the CGI company that was doing this. Maybe there was a special effects test, but I don't think I've ever found it anywhere else. So that's the only clip that exists, to my knowledge.
We've discussed this, Jose. We don't like how it goes back and shows us again.
Yeah.
I just don't like that. I mean, you don't need to. Because audiences remember.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Stupid.
We were talking about that in the Plague, right? That they did this. They did that with having flashbacks to stuff that happened in the movie that we already saw.
Yeah, a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
And there's Pinhead again.
Yeah.
And then we're going to see the Theseus crew, coming up and say, "You're relieved," and then...
Yeah. Angelique looks great. I have to admit, that's a really good... I've always loved that design.
Yep, inspired by Whoopi Goldberg and Sister Act.
Yeah. But
wow.
Because it looks kind of like a nun outfit, at least the head part. It's kind of hard to see it, but the veil. I always wondered why he thinks that big vault thing is going to keep the Cenobites inside.
Yeah. Well, it did for some reason, right? They had to trick somebody into opening the door.
Well, we kind of forgive that because, when you read the script, there was a really golden gem in this, but unfortunately, there was just not the budget or the director's talent to bring that to life. I mean,
remember in the work print, there was a few scenes that were shown where, like, originally doesn't he cut his head off? Not cut his head off, but cut his hair off. He had long hair originally, and then he cut it off.
Right.
Then he talked to some like hologramic like priest.
Priest, yeah.
Yes, there was a scene that might have been written by Rand Ravitch and Joe Chappelle, who did the reshoots. So there is a scene where Merchant is preparing to summon Pinhead, and he feels like this is the end game. And so what he does is he has long hair, and then you see a sequence of him shaving his head. Then he confesses his sins to a holographic priest, and then he asks for strength to do what he must do, and that's why his head is shaved. Yep, Pinhead. Peter Atkins, in an interview to the Lost Souls newsletter in 1996 about the delay of Hellraiser Bloodline release, reported the following. He said, they needed to do more shooting. They liked a lot of what they saw, but some of it they didn't. Plus, they wanted more. So they brought Doug back and a few of the other cast members and did what they call an enhancement shoot in early April of 1995. Since then, they've been back and re-edited. Now they're about to do another 6 days of shooting to improve Pinhead's death. The movie will finally be released in March 1996. So basically, the reason they were spending the extra money in having this extra shoot was just they wanted to keep the franchise alive for part 5 and 6.
Oh.
So at one point, nobody really cared about this movie anymore.
Yeah, that's really a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
They just didn't want to lose the franchise, and that's why they just finished it and kind of wrapped it up.
It's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? I mean, that's this movie is not good because people didn't care about it, and it's not the other way around.
Yeah. Like interviewed by Dave Hughes, Doug Bradley commented on the post-production. He said, it was horrible. Everything about it was dark and impenetrable. There were a number of fundamentally bad decisions made very early on, primarily to do with trying to shoot Bloodline for the same money and in the same time frame as Hell on Earth. But not only did they want it shot in L.A., which is expensive, instead of North Carolina, which isn't, it was clear that this was far and away the most complicated Hellraiser script, certainly more so than Hell on Earth. And like Hellbound, was obviously going to be relatively effects-heavy. So even before we started filming, I had some serious doubts whether the movie could be shot in 36 days on the money we'd been given. The irony, of course, is that they ended up spending the extra money they were refusing to commit in the first place.
Yeah.
Before character Parker in the original, his death was different. He got killed by the Chatter Beast.
Oh.
And they reshot his death to make it a little bit better, which I think was the right thing to do. I like the reshot better.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they shouldn't have had the same Cenobites for the last 100 years. You would think that over that time he could have picked up some new ones.
Well, he did. Did Siamese twins, Chatter Beast, and Angelique?
That's what I'm saying. Those are all characters that we saw in the present day.
Oh, I see what you mean. Right. So, yeah. 120 years in the future.
Yeah, but he hasn't picked up any new Cenobites since then.
Or 110 years. Yep. So, and then Doug Bradley did 2 weeks of reshoots. So he says they weren't really reshoots at all. They were shooting whole new material. And there were at least 2 other sessions which didn't involve me. So like you said, Rob, earlier in the commentary, there were 4 different reshoots.
Yeah. I mean, there's no telling how much deleted footage. I'm sure all that footage that got deleted in the 18th century is out there somewhere.
I hope so.
They can, if the surgeon scene can be found, I know for a fact that this has got to be out there somewhere.
Such an amazing makeup for Angelique there. And you see back there behind that guy, the wall is made out of rock. There we go.
That's why.
Yeah.
Now it's just, like you said, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's like a weird design choice by, I guess he wanted that rock there because he just I don't know.
Another quote from Doug Bradley is, "I couldn't have told you the story if I tried, as they were dicking around with the script so much and probably had a sixth or a seventh of a movie. So we rescued something from that."
Yeah. He never minces words about Hellraiser movies.
No. And after watching the final cut to be released, Kevin Yeager took his name off the film. He said, "There was a lot of me in there, but there were a number of things in there that I wasn't involved in. That's why I removed my name." And that's finally how the pseudonym of Alan Smithy took over what was to be Hellraiser Bloodline. It's a movie that was butchered by a series of unfortunate decisions. A first-time director, Kevin Yeager, whose first cut wasn't actually all that scary to begin with. Unsympathetic producers who didn't really understand what the film was about. Not enough time or money or dialogue with the filmmakers. And a last-minute team that patched up the incomplete film. Rand Ravitch, writer, and Joe Chappelle, with some very uninspired rewrites and a confusing edit.
Angelique is wearing the same clothes that she wore 120 years ago.
Yeah,
that saves a lot of production money.
Yeah. That's a pretty cool scene, though. I like it. You got to see, is she in, the, Leviathan. I can't remember the name of it.
This Leviathan, the story of Hellraiser and Hellbound Hellraiser.
What do you call it? The Labyrinth.
The Labyrinth.
Part of the Labyrinth, yeah.
Okay. Here's that scene you guys love so much.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Favorite part of the movie.
They have laser guns.
Yeah.
How come we only see them use laser guns once?
Yeah.
There should have been a lot more. That guy should be running around thinking, "Damn, this space station is nasty." It's like, look at that.
Yeah. Well, and the space station can't be that huge. You'd think he would, instead of hiding right there, that he would try to get back to the rest of the group.
Also, I get the idea that they mentioned something about this space station being completed and then taken out of orbit. So this is a brand new space station.
Yeah.
Or supposed to be.
And that music there sounded like Alien for a minute.
Oh, here's Ben. Oh, is he here? Oh, no, I'm just going to keep on walking by. Oh.
Kind of makes Pinhead look foolish.
Yeah. And
I guess Pinhead side glances.
Kind of a silly slasher moment, too. It just, it makes it, these chase scenes are kind of slasher. It turns them into slashers.
Yeah.
Peekaboo. You can totally tell that those laser bars are supposed to be, that's what they're supposed to be, but they're just like
flashlights with smoke or something.
Yeah. Well, you kind of forgive that.
Yeah.
Because,
Hey, guys, I got to step back up to the bathroom real fast, all right?
Okay.
All right.
That's to let you know.
So it's like, the good shots of the space station. I really like the whole idea of the space station.
Yeah.
Folding on itself at the end.
That's one of the coolest parts of this movie.
Mm-hmm. And you can also see that merchant here, the future merchant. His outfit kind of reminds us of almost like a priestly outfit, and almost like the same kind of jacket that the new Pinhead makeup had on at Monsterpalooza. Well, obviously he doesn't know how to use the box here, but this part always reminds me of when Kirsty says it's just a puzzle box, and then the other guy says, "No, it's a means to summon us."
And why would a priestess or like a princess of hell say "thank God"?
She's being ironic.
Yeah. Well.
we never really get a lot of confirmation or denial whether or not there's angels and God in this Hellraiser universe.
That's true.
That's always been an interesting question.
Yeah. This is the dumbest kill. I hate that.
And they were supposed to say something. They were supposed to alternate each line, and they were supposed to say, "I cannot bear to be away from my brother." And then they would just absorb him, and he would disappear. I think it's funny that his earpiece falls.
This countdown, it seems like a little bit of a cheat, right? Because earlier it said there was 12 minutes left, but it seemed like a lot more time had gone by than just the 6 or whatever minutes since then.
Yeah, and countdowns like this, I mean, this countdown makes sense because it's a countdown to something that's going to change in the station. But, usually countdowns in movies, especially countdowns towards an explosion, have always been like this tropey thing where it's like the reactor is about to blow. There's only 20 seconds until it explodes, and there's a countdown thing.
Yeah,
and you always wonder, how would they know, right? The meltdown is going to happen when it happens. There's nothing that says it's going to happen on the count of 0.
Yeah, right. I mean, it could be maybe an estimation, but they would never really.
Yeah. I mean, in this case, it's appropriate because it's a countdown towards a change in the station. It's not. Yeah. That is very true. I wonder if that was supposed to just be a screen or a window, because it looks like a screen.
It does look like a screen. And there's some more cave walls in there.
Yep. More rock slab walls.
Yeah.
Okay.
What have we got here in terms of quotes from Clive Barker about this movie? Well, here's one. Clive Barker saying, in 1995, "Right now it's out of my hands and it never was really in them. I always said they never finished shooting the movie. That schedule never really allowed Kevin to film what he had to, and it's my belief that there is much work shooting-wise that still needs to be done."
Yeah.
He was very right.
Yeah. Yeah. I when I saw him at the Thief of Always screening, or the Thief of Always book signing and Q&A, he had talked about this, kind of hopefully because it hadn't come out yet. He's like, yeah, we're trying something new with this one that's really interesting. So I think they were still in the planning stages for it.
Okay, here's
like 92.
Here's a sequence. She closes one door, opens another, and then she says, "Here, doggy." And the work print works, but this one is messed up in the editing because you see, she closed the door, and then she opened another one, and then she closed it, and then all of a sudden the Chatterbeast is inside the chamber, but we didn't see it go in
the chamber. Yeah,
right.
But in the work print, there was like a title card that said Chatterbeast enters.
Yeah,
it's going to be a digital effect, and I guess it just said screw it.
It's like when you're doing an equation and you're closing all the parentheses, but then you forgot to close one of the parentheses.
Yeah.
And the formula doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same here. There was a little mistake there, continuity error. Yeah, that comes towards the thing you were saying earlier, that every single descendant is played by the same actor.
Yeah.
You can tell the differences in the difference in his performance, Bruce Ramsey. It's really clunky, his performance in the way throughout the reshoots. You can tell he even stopped caring, I think.
Yeah.
About the character, because I think in the original shoot he really enjoyed the direction.
Right.
The stories.
That's
so silly.
That famous scene where he gets fooled by
a hologram.
Yeah, I know.
He's like, I'm not used to technology. What is the internet?
Yeah.
All done with mirrors. Good sequence here. I like this transformation sequence, and I think it still holds up pretty well in terms of CGI.
I was noticing Pinhead's teeth were actually kind of nasty in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they remembered.
Yeah.
Of course, this was not how it was meant to go down, and the work print has a very different ending where
you actually see Angelique and the twins
and and Merchant actually faces off with Pinhead, and they both die together.
Oh. Yeah, this is a good point. Why aren't we seeing the rest of the Cenobites getting killed too?
You see them like shaking around here for like a brief moment, I think. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking about the work print. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we know Chatterbeast exploded, which is a little bit of a cheat.
When I saw this in the theater, I was like, where are they?
Yeah.
I was just really confused.
Yeah, it's almost like, well, they're not as important as Pinhead, so we don't have money to deal with that. Let's just skip it.
I've heard that this last line, "Welcome to Oblivion, Amen," it was kind of that Clive Barker came up with it. I don't know how true that is.
What was the interview? We interviewed Peter, and he said the Clive Barker line was, "I'm so exquisitely empty."
Oh yeah, that one too.
And the Amen line was might have been ad-libbed by Doug.
Oh wow, that's a good ad-lib right there.
Yeah, and that was such a quick cut to the credits. Like, holy crap!
I know.
Give us something.
The movie's over.
Yeah, I know. Get out.
Originally, you were supposed to see some tumbling pins in space after it explodes.
Better than anything. I mean,
It's like having the usher grab you by the shoulders and like push you out of the theater.
Yeah, exactly. It's very abrupt.
Yeah.
And there was. Jose, what's the other ending that Peter wrote in his script where it kind of does a time loop?
The other ending was supposed to be after the Minos space station folds into the box, there would be this giant hand that would show up from space and pick it up, and then it would kind of dissolve into Le Marchand's work table, and the hand would put the box down, and you would listen to, "Ha-ha, I'm done," and then his wife would run into the room and say, "Is it ready? Is it finished?" So that's how it was supposed to be, I think.
Yeah, that would be kind of neat.
It was kind of just recalling Hellraiser. Remember how Hellraiser kind of did that?
Yes.
It's
like
amazing.
They zoom out from Kirsty and then it zooms back into the box and there's the bazaar again.
It's amazing that a movie with the scope and ambition of this, having 3 different stories, it's like only an hour and 20 minutes when we get to the end credits.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm over the years I've had a love and hate relationship with this movie. At the end of the day, I do enjoy it, but I'm not going to make excuses for its flaws.
And what's with this music now? It's like action movie music.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they put some different music in the credits. For example, there's a work print for Hellraiser 3 the credits were supposed to be Ozzy Osbourne's Hellraiser, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, so this is a very troubled movie, but I think it's I still liked it. I still saw it in the theater, and that was the last Hellraiser movie I ever saw in a theater. And
it actually made some money. I mean, because I think the final budget was around $9 million.
Yeah,
it made about 16 for that time. I guess that's pretty good.
Jose, were you saying that in Hellraiser 3 they were supposed to use the Ozzy Osbourne version of Hellraiser instead of the
in a work print? In a work print that I saw at the end credits, they put the Ozzy Osbourne version.
Oh, wow.
So I guess they were still negotiating or something to make the Motorhead version in the end credits. So you saw there robot hands by 3 Space CGI.
Huh.
An assistant to Mr. Yeager, even though he's not the director of this movie anymore.
Right.
And teachers who probably gave classes to the kids that were playing, Merchant's kid. So this is it. This is a very troubled movie, but a movie that I still like.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scenes in the moments in this movie that I really, really think are brilliant in terms of just strong moments with Pinhead. Obviously, Peter Atkins' writing is brilliant. I mean, if you can get a copy of the script, just read it, because the movie is there. The movie that was supposed to be is there. And he in an interview, he said, that he wrote, I think, 6 drafts or something like that.
Yes.
Wow.
That's right.
Yeah.
The 4th draft is the one that's out there. If you
that is correct.
Yeah. I'd like
He
that.
says, I'd written 6 versions of the script, 6 drafts, and Miramax always knew that the 18th century came first, and Pinhead didn't appear until the 20th century story. So it's not that anyone could blame Kevin for delaying Pinhead's entrance, because that's the way it was written. That's the way it was approved by Miramax. But I think that when they saw the movie, they suddenly felt, hey, wait a minute, where's our monster? Yeah. We made a terrible mistake. They didn't finger point. They didn't say, oh, it's Peter's fault or Kevin's fault. They just figured, we should have known this originally. We should have brought Pinhead in earlier. And, that's when they started actually pushing to make the movie have Pinhead in earlier. And that's why we see the future segment opening the movie. So,
well, I think, they should have. I mean, I guess you just don't, in hindsight, 2020, you don't know how things are going to turn out. But really, if they wanted Pinhead in the movie sooner, they should have figured out a way to, work the script before shooting started and, to fix these problems.
Absolutely.
Instead of just, going in there, not sure.
It's too bad because this what happened to this movie ended up changing the course of Hellraiser movies for forever after that, right? I mean, they never even were good enough for a theatrical release.
Yeah, after this, everything went straight to video.
Yeah.
Straight to hell.
Yeah.
So, thanks for joining us for this commentary track for Hellraiser Bloodline, guys.
Yeah.
I really had a good time doing it. Coming back and talking with y'all again is always great.
Yeah, we thought we would have done Hellraiser Judgment by now, but nobody knows what's going on with that movie.
I'm just curious, since I don't get on Facebook much, I was going to ask you what's going on with that.
There's no trailer. There's nothing. Nobody's made any announcements about the release of it. The only one talking about it is Paul T. Taylor, just saying he's excited about it. But
yeah, there was a recent interview with him, I think on Bloody Disgusting, where they talk about his career as an actor and how he overcame hepatitis C, apparently. They talk about that a lot.
Yeah, and Gary Tunnicliffe did like a 3-hour podcast on some podcast called like 60 Minutes With. And he talked all about the movie, and he said, he liked it, but he said they kept on changing the script. Weinstein kept changing the script, and he said there's going to be parts that people don't like, and I know it, and it's not my fault, because if you looked at the original script, your people are going to say that should be there, and it was there, and so he's already started like saying that the internet.
That's not good. That's not good. That's not a good sign, man.
Yeah.
What you just told me speaks volumes.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
He's already distancing himself from it.
Wow.
I guess we'll see when it comes out.
Yeah.
And just as a closing thing, I did a music video for Bloodline once, and I think that Peter Atkins saw it, and I think he said to me that you did a better job. You did a better job with editing the movie than what they did.
Than the 3 editors. So
I don't know.
Is that still up on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on Vimeo. I just added it to the show notes so you can put it in.
Okay, awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks for this, and thanks for spending some time watching Hellraiser Bloodline with us.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Yeah, take care.
You can find the show notes for this page and lots of Clive Barker news and features at www.clivebarkercast.com. Leave comments there or get them directly into the podcast by clicking the Send Voicemail tab on the right. Please follow us on Twitter at BarkerCast or at Occupy Midian. Like us on Facebook and join the Occupy Midian Facebook group. You can listen on the site or subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, TuneIn, Pocket Cast, Google Play, and Double Twist. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Please take a couple of minutes to leave us a review on iTunes. It means the world to us and helps us spread the word about Clive Barker. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial fan site and podcast that is not affiliated with or under contract by Clive Barker or Seraphim Films. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans.
Thanks for listening.